Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand the facts. Divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and I'm joined today and always by my new permanent co-host, Dave Anderson, which we'll get to in a second. But before that, you know the drill. You want to help me out, get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me on Savagely Loud. On Instagram, at Savagely Loud. That is where I'm most active. On that page, you're going to find two links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there, too, that'd be greatly appreciated, as that will inevitably be my backup page once the other one's shut down. The other link you're going to find is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to hear my bullshit or see my rants, you can find it there easy peasy. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast. You can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com, which I strongly suggest you do if you want to guarantee that I see your communication. And last but not least, do not forget to like and comment and share the material. Please rate and review the shows on Apple iTunes and Spotify. It really does wonders for helping us get into the algorithm and start waking up all these other motherfuckers. That all being said, I'm also joined by another guest of mine, Tom Hatsis. How are you today?
Chillin', brother. How you doing?
Not too bad. Dave, let them know where they can find you.
All right, folks, you can find me over on social media on Instagram and Facebook at the Hammer Drops. Those are the two spots I'm mostly active on. I'm going to be canceling out the TikTok because I'm kind of sick of them. And when you go over there, you'll see a couple links in my bio. One is going to take you to the website, thehammerdrops.com. The other one will take you to a nice little link tree where you can find all my rants and all my stuff all over the internet. Don't forget, while you visit me there, follow, like, and share the content because it does help, like Cliff said. And if you want to get in touch with me, email me. Don't DM me because those DMs just fill up and I can't get through them all. Email me at david@thehammerdrops.com. Blah, blah, blah.
All right, Mushmouth, well done. Like I told you guys, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Tom Hatsis, today, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite people on the internet.
Yes.
How you doing today? Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you before we get started?
Yeah, everyone. My name is Tom Hatsis. Instagram, tom.hatsis, because my likeness and image was stolen more times than just about anybody that I have to put a dot in my name to actually be able to use it by Instagram. And I also have a Substack, Tom Hatsis as well, and a Twitter, it's X now, which I don't really have. There's not much activity for me on X at all. I post my reels there, but most of the action for me happens on Instagram. That's how Cliff and I got linked up, is on Instagram.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't remember how I stumbled upon you, but I don't remember what video it was that I stumbled upon you with, but you have a very captivating entrance. Like, your videos and your voice and your tones and your cadence, like, everything is very attractive to the ear. It's very easy to listen to, and it's very easy to find yourself wanting to hear more, wanting to listen more. And you talk about real shit. You are now you're pretty much in the hub of liberalism, aren't you, out there on the West Coast?
I live in Portland. Excuse me. Yeah, it makes me sick to say it. Yeah, I live in Portland. I don't really consider it liberal. I consider it leftist.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get into that real quick. How do you view the difference between liberal and leftist?
A liberal is somebody that I can talk to about competing ideas and still have a drink or smoke a joint with that guy after and be chill. We could disagree and it's not that big a deal. One of my buddies that comes onto my thread sometimes, and I feel bad because people give him hell, very liberal guy, very dear friend of mine. And he's the kind of person, like, he'll say that he's on the left. I'm like, dude, you're not on the left, you're a liberal, because I can actually talk to you. if you were a leftist, you would just be calling me a racist or, whatever choice word, and then you'd be crying and, crying into a reel and telling everybody how you were oppressed and whatever. So I try to separate the two just to be fair to people.
I like that because I typically I work very hard to separate liberals and Democrats because they may have morphed into kind of the same thing as of late, but I still don't feel like they're the same thing. I still feel like, it's much like the argument of Republican to conservative. Like, not all Republicans are so conservative. So there is a difference there. And I don't like to, even though I absolutely despise the mindset of the liberal, what I call the liberal, or you would call the leftist, even though I despise that mindset, I still find it in me to at least give them the respect of drawing the line between them and people with a brain. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I do like that though. I'm gonna think about that for a little while, the difference between liberal and leftist, because liberal has such a wicked connotation to it now. Every time you hear liberal, doesn't matter who it is, you've definitely got some assumptions already made, so I do like that. The leftist is a good thing. Now, the opposite of that.
Liberal without brains. You said it yourself, man. A leftist is a liberal without brains.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. Because the way I look at it, what's that?
I was agreeing, man, because I'm so used to, I hear liberal, and the first thing I think was like, oh, fuck, what am I going to deal with here? Right. Most of them are brain dead motherfuckers. It's just like, ugh. But I kind of like that because leftist, and you could actually, distinguishing the two like that.
Yeah, because I have some liberal perspectives, but I wouldn't consider myself a left. I mean, I consider myself politically off spectrum. I know that the trolls in my comments like to call me a right-wing grifter, which is weird because I've criticized many people on the right, and they never show up on those posts. Right. They only show up when I criticize the left, and it's like, well, where's your fucking credibility at this point? Like, at least be an equal opportunity douche,
Right. Well, that's my whole thing behind the far middle. It's like I'm so fucking extremely in the middle, far away from the sides that I can't even see you guys anymore. And it's for exact reasons like you just said. You always show up when it's time to disagree, but you never show up when it's time to support. You know what I mean?
No, I know. And I've actually said once to some troll came on and said something. I don't remember what it was, but I said, I actually agree with you about this. We agree. He replies, that's because you're a piece of shit who changes his mind anytime someone shouts. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, I can't even fucking agree with you without you being a dick. It's like, and that's why nobody likes you. It was essentially, I made a reel yesterday about this is why nobody it's shit like that. That's why nobody likes you.
Right. Well, and why do we live in a time, ever since I'm 43 years old, and my whole time growing up, I've been hearing motherfuckers say, this is 1997. What kind of world do we live in? This is 2001. What kind of world? This is 2015. This is 2025. We're in 2026 now, and we still can't agree without an argument or disagree without an argument. Like, it seems like we're going quicker down the shitter than we ever have as a society before.
Yeah, it's weird because it's so, part of me wants to agree with you, man. But the truth of the matter, historically speaking, is that every generation always thinks this is the worst it's ever been. And when we look back, it's always the best it's ever been. Like right now, it seems fucking crazy. I assure you, in 100 years, people will look back, but wow, those people had it really fucking good. I mean, they didn't know what a woman was, but besides that, they had it pretty fucking good. Yeah,
I mean, true. Overarching theme of society, I believe we do still have it good because, the honest to God's truth is if you turn the fucking TV off, if you turn social media off, really the only difference in life that you're going to notice is prices at the gas station, prices at the grocery store. But other than that, you're not really seeing much. You're not really noticing much. And I think they use this social media culture to push their narratives. And I was just in a conversation about trans people with a friend of mine, and I told him, I was like, where I'm at? I was like, I don't even know how I feel about trans people. Like, I don't, and it's because I don't know how many people are actually trans. And if I extend it upon that, because we know a lot of people aren't. We know there are a lot of people that are trans and they feel genuinely like they were born in the wrong body. I get that. But there's an awful lot of people, more so I would say, that just want the attention because they have fucked up every single thing in their life. They have no skills to speak of, nothing to fall back on, and now I need to get the attention so that I can maybe get a lawsuit for defamation or something like that. But I will go so far as to say that I'm not even sure that part of that there isn't like CIA plants, like these big name trans people. Like I a lot of me does wonder, like, you hit the internet all day long and you whine and piss and moan and you get people fired up. But a lot of me wonders how many of those people like go home and like shower off all the paint, shake off all that trans shit, and then go lay the hammer to their wife, you know? Like, how many people are really trying to push this in a direction that it doesn't organically go?
Well, I mean, we've seen, I mean, I would say that the past, I don't know, 8 years, maybe 10, I mean, we've seen people pushing it to places where it was never supposed to go, and that's how we got Trump the second time. Was that everyone just said, you know what, I'll vote for fucking this guy before I give my tax dollars so that prisoners can get sex changes.
Right.
And I think that that's one of the, I think that's one of the mistakes a lot of people on the left, both liberals and leftists, make, is that a lot of people that support Trump don't actually like him. We just recognize that he would be better than the other shitheads. Like, that's all it is. And because he's so brash and unpredictable, I think that's what they just can't stand about him. And I don't know, they just, with the whole trans thing, it's like, I feel like reasonable people, and here I guess I'm tuning my horn because this is my belief, so let me just say my belief, and maybe it's not all that reasonable, it's just, look, if you're an adult, I don't give a shit. I look at it the same way I look at alcohol. You're over there, you drink all the fucking vodka you want, but the second I see you pouring vodka down a fucking 10-year-old's throat, now we have a problem.
Bingo.
Exactly.
That's
Bingo
the
right there.
part that they're, now you say that, and the response is, oh, well, you hate trans people. No, I don't. This is the thing. I don't give a shit. I think people have completely misunderstood my position on this. I don't actually care. You all forced me to have a position on this.
Yeah.
And here's my position. I don't think you should experiment on kids. Other than that, do whatever the fuck you want. And yes, non-binary is a fashion trend. I mean, you could literally measure the fashion trend of it. I mean, we have charts for this shit. It's unbelievable.
Well, I think, you know, back when the last administration, I mean, like for myself, I didn't have an issue with anybody. Like, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care about any of that. But the fact that the last administration was just ramming it down everybody's throat, I think that was the thing that broke everybody's back. Like, we're done with this shit. And then we started seeing all those, you know, those dance parties with the trans at the libraries and the schools, and everybody's bringing their kids there. It's like, leave the fucking kids alone. And that's where people just made that disconnect. And now that's why everybody's like, and I think that's where a lot of people started really looking at the trans people like, I don't even want to deal with you guys now, you know. And then with the women's sports, you know, it's like, what the fuck is going on? You know, it just rammed so far down our throats at that point, you know?
Yeah. And that's another thing people misunderstand. Like, look, I don't care about women's sports. I care about fairness. I care about justice.
Yeah.
Women's sport, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I don't care about men's sports either, for that matter. I believe in fairness.
Well, it's like that one, oh, go ahead, Cliff.
No, go for it.
No, it's like that one, the swimmer, what was her name again?
Leah Thomas.
Leah Thomas.
Well, Leah Thomas, when she went,
Are you talking about Riley Gaines?
Riley Gaines, that's one. So I know when she came out and she started bitching about what was going on, because the guy, I mean, it was like,
oh, that was Riley.
You know, it had people starting to like, you know, question, like, did he just go over and say he was trans so he can compete with women so he can win? You know, and all these women, and I don't think what people understand is like, all these women that compete in these sports compete and they start very young, you know, and to have, you know, a man come into that sport and dominate, it's, you know, I feel for them, you know, because they fought so hard for women's rights and all this stuff, just to have it stripped out from them. And it's like the leftists or the liberals or whatever, they were all for it. They were, you know, yeah, we should allow this.
This
like,
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say this might annoy some of your listeners, but I disagree. I don't think that Leah Thomas did it just to win gold medal. I think she really believes that she was born in the wrong body, and I don't have an issue with that. But it's like, okay, you still don't get to play the sport. Like, we entered this sort of place in society where people just expect they're going to get whatever they want. And as soon as they don't get what they want, it's all of a sudden, oh, it's because people are trans or they're racist or they're this or that. It's like, no, it's just that in life, you don't get everything you want. It doesn't mean there's a fucking conspiracy against you, like, and so I don't know. I don't think I don't think it was performative. I think that she's really probably thinks that. Obviously, I don't know what's in her head, but I don't think she did it just to win gold medals. I don't. But again, maybe she did. I don't fucking know.
See, and that's why I like it, because we can disagree. Because I 100%. There's not a little bit of me that thinks that dude coming in at 490th place in the men's division said, "Oh well, now's the time." Once he came in dead last in the men's division, all of a sudden it was time to come out. Like, I don't know. If nothing else, it's coincidental timing.
Over. I'm rage quitting. You're a bigot. I'm kidding.
I've done that to him before too.
Yeah, wait till you see Dave. Like, I can't do this anymore.
I'm over it.
But yeah, it's it's a really wild world that we live in. And you said it best, Tom. Everybody believes that they're entitled to have everything they want. And the moment that they don't get what they want, they immediately have to pawn the blame off on something. It's not that life works this way. It's that you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a misogynist, you're this, you're that, the other thing. And that, I think, ties right back into your leftist liberal thing, because I do know some liberals, because I've been thinking about that since you said that, this whole show. Mm-hmm. And I do know some liberals that are actually very decent people. Like, they're a little bit, they're a little bit more bleeding heart than I would like them to be. But I also can see the validity, because they can back it up. This is why I feel this way. And when they tell you their reasons, they're valid. They're real reasons. They're heartfelt. They're not a narrative. They're not something I hear on Instagram all the time. They actually come from their soul. And then I have leftist friends, acquaintances, that, it's like, well, why do you believe that? Why the fuck should I have to explain it to you? That's what I get out of leftists. Yeah. I like that. I'm getting on that liberal leftist thing.
It's a good one, man.
It is.
I would have to agree. That is a very good one, because I could have conversations with some that are, I would consider liberals, but then you have another conversation, that same conversation with somebody else that is liberal, and it's like automatically, well, you're a fucking bigot, you're this, you're that, you're everything underneath the sun. It's like, well, I'm just trying to have a conversation to see your point of where you stand and why you stand there, so I have a better understanding.
Yeah, I find that liberals, conservatives, and myself, we all, even when we disagree, we occupy the same reality. The leftist does not occupy that reality.
Right.
And there's I think that there are people on the far right who also are not living in reality. I don't know if they have a name or any. I guess a groiper, that's
the Fuentes fucking crowd. I think Nick Fuentes is a Fed. I'll say it every fucking time. But yeah, that's his crowd, the groipers.
You said he's a fad?
I think he's a Fed. Like, I think he's an agent.
Fed. Oh, okay. Yeah, so so just to show no favoritism, I feel about groipers the same way I feel about the left.
Yeah. I feel like there's this addiction to need to belong to a team. Like, I can't just go through life without a label. Yes, you can. Yeah. You can go through life very happily, in fact, without a label. In fact, I do it every single day. I know
I was just going to say, I do it every day.
Like, my content makes people think that I'm this like gigantic rage monster. In fact, I was just talking to Amber. She's Petty Crocker 88. I was talking to her the other day, and we were talking about it. She's like, everybody thinks that we just hit the internet, because I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she brings a lot of savagely loud energy. She's a Southern woman, and she's a yeller, but very, very kind and gentle about it in that typical Southern way. Woman. Yeah, she's fucking awesome. But we were talking, like, everybody just thinks we wake up in this fucking rage-filled state. Like, no, I have to like work up the energy to be mad, to make this piece of content so that I can spark this thought in you. And then you can come back to me and then we can have this conversation. Like, this is a lot of work because generally speaking, I'm a happy-go-lucky motherfucker. Like, I've almost died several times. I've lost everything I've ever owned 7 times now. Been homeless 3 times. Now I own a house. I got a fucking wife with the absolute most fantastic relationship I could ever dream of. Got kids, got fucking animals. Like, everything's fucking amazing. It sucks to have to get mad just to try to get my point across to people because you can't have a normal conversation. It has to start with a trigger, you know?
Yeah, and that's like, I feel you, man, because that's like they call it like the opening hook or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta like, oh, you have to say something to just like piss the person off in the first 3 seconds, or they're gonna keep going. And it's like, I don't know how much I pay attention to that. I really just go for a walk and I just flip the camera on and walk and talk into it. And you know, I don't wake up angry. I actually wake up really happy every single day. You know, like so. And people are like, oh, well, why are you so angry? It's like, well, I just got done meditating. What are you talking about? I'm actually not angry at all. You know, I'm just saying things you don't like. But there's a big difference between me saying something you don't like and me being angry. It's like, no, like, I'm a guinea from New York. I assure you, if I'm pissed off, there's not going to be any confusion about it. There's bottles are going to be hitting the walls, chairs are going to go through the fucking window. My 1930s Muggsy fucking New York accent's going to come out. I'm going to start talking like this. Like, that's how you know I'm actually pissed off.
If you're not I'm going to fucking take this from you?
What's that?
You think I'm going to take this from you?
that was good because you the first time you didn't emphasize the you. What, you think I'm going to take this from you? You got it.
There we go.
We'll make you a proper guinea in no time.
I don't know, Tom. I don't think I can ever picture you mad. That just the way you come across right now, just the way how you talk, I can never. And if you did, I would want to stay the fuck away then.
But look, I'm a human. I get pissed off like everybody else. I just do different techniques, like just different brain shit to like get me out of being there. You know, when it's simple stuff like when you're pissed off, you're in the amygdala, right? You got to get back to the prefrontal cortex. So whenever I get pissed off, I just stop. I take 2 seconds. I'm just like, all right, you weren't actually pissed. That feeling is pissed off, and you're gonna let it go, and then it's gone. It works.
I gotta start it.
Try it.
I try gratitude.
I gotta start incorporating some of that stuff.
Yeah, I do gratitude. As soon as I start getting really fucking pissed off, I take a second and, you know, I'm just like, all right, I'm thankful for today. And the reason I'm thankful for today is because I woke up. I didn't have this debilitating disease. I don't have to give my child my heart. I don't, you know, in a transplant types procedure. I don't have to do all this, you know, life ain't that bad, you know?
Yeah, unless you're terminally ill, life is good, man. Like healthy people don't understand that once you get sick, your life was awesome before that.
Yeah. Well, and I try to tell people that, like, when people are really fucking mad, because like mentality is really where my bread and butter is, in perspective. Yeah. So that's what I try to tell people. It's like, this wouldn't mean.
No, Cliff.
He rage quit.
Yeah, I think Cliff's system just went down. I'm sure he's gonna be back up here soon.
Sure.
There he is. What happened, Cliff?
Every fucking time.
No, you're on the bottom.
No, I'm on the bottom. I don't want to be on the bottom. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Every fucking time, man. I really got to start using that new computer. I just spent $4,000 on a new computer, and I'm still using this $800 dinosaur from 10 years ago.
Well, you were saying, Cliff.
But yeah, I just like, I tell them, like, when people are pissing and moaning about Donald Trump, politics, all this other shit, I'm like, this wouldn't mean a fucking thing if you had cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wouldn't mean a fucking thing if your kid just got a car accident. So why don't you just act like that, you know?
Yeah. And that's the shame of it, is that it's like that you can't find happiness unless you're thinking about things that don't suck. Flip that. Don't think about the things that suck. Think about the shit you have. Yeah. Think about it. Like, and again, begin with your health. And then all the other shit that you have that we all overlook every day of our lives because we're used to it. Yeah. But that's why you stop, you take 2 seconds, sit in silence, and just think about it. One of my favorite things, man, every single day, I make sure that I am bored at least for 20 minutes.
Really? That's interesting.
Be bored out of your ass. The best ideas are gonna come to you, man. Your operating software is the same operating software that was, thousands of years ago. No updates whatsoever. Our brains literally developed to scan for danger. We all know this. Well, we all live very comfortably now. There's not so much danger anymore. So when you just sit there and just be bored, your brain, the part of your brain that's normally scanning for danger, it becomes creative. It starts thinking about creative solutions because you can actually use all of your mentality now. Why? Well, because you're fucking bored, because there's nothing going on. So now you are forced to use 100% of your thinking capabilities to get yourself out of the boredom. Be bored every day.
I like that. I've never heard nothing like that, but I do like that approach to it. It gets you back into the reality of things for me is the way it pulls you out of this la la land that everybody wants to live in and pulls you right back into reality, gets you thinking, gets you trying to solve problems. Because like you said, we're either looking for danger or looking for solutions, and most people just look for danger all the time. So, and when they can't find it, they make it, so.
Yeah, it almost did it the other day in Minnesota or Minneapolis.
Well, and
created danger.
It's funny that you bring that up because I was going to touch on that when you were talking about reality, because this lady, the wife that was outside the car, is very obviously completely divorced from reality because now her footage came out or somebody else's footage came out and you can hear her screaming. She's like, "Why do you have real bullets in your gun? What in the fuck is in your head where you would ask a cop why he had real bullets?"
Yeah, but that is the fantasy these people live in. When I heard that, it was like, was it supposed to be a fucking water pistol? Like, what are you talking about? It's a gun. What did you think? Person points it at you and pulls the trigger. What do you think is going to happen? I'm sorry that it happened. Look, it's a fucking tragedy, but don't try to hit somebody with your fucking car that's holding a gun. I mean, lesson for all of us, right?
Well, and here, like, we might as well break it down a little bit since we're here. I honestly, I just don't feel bad. There's not even a little bit in me that goes this was unfortunate. Fuck it. The way I look at it is just, okay, you chose to create a situation that you knew was going to go wrong, and you did it because of TikTok. Now, because let's face it, if she wasn't getting paid, it's all come out. She was a paid agitator. If she wasn't getting paid, she wouldn't have been there. She wouldn't have given a fuck, but the paycheck was there, so now she gave a fuck. And on the other end of that, guys, you became an ICE officer. Most likely you haven't been one for very long because most ICE officers, given the numbers that I've read, and this could be way off, but most of the ICE officers that I'm reading about haven't been on the job for more than a year. Most of them. Because they'll come on for the $50,000 sign-on bonus, they'll run a couple of little missions, and then they go, "This is fucked up, I'm out."
Yeah. I mean, the reason I feel bad for her is because she has kids. I feel bad for her children, and it sucks to lose a mom like that. And that's really what it comes down to for me. It's just it's a perfect Shakespearean tragedy. It's something that didn't have to happen, but she did orchestrate the whole thing herself. And that's why I think it's a shame because to your point, Cliff, she was a paid protester, so I don't even know how much she actually gave a shit about any of this stuff. How much she really cared. And I mean, most of these protesters, I don't think 99% of them actually give a shit. It is such obvious theater to me at this point because they don't even know what they're protesting. At least in Portland, I mean, we have people fucking singing "This land is your land." It's do you even know why you're here? Do you know what's going on? No, they didn't. They had no idea.
Right.
Yeah, it's just when kids, I mean, those poor kids, now they don't have a mother or a father. And so I feel bad for them, and
again, I admit, my life has made me a bit colder. I do still have that warm, sympathetic spot in my soul and my heart for good people. But I can't help but feel like these kids are better off without her. As shitty as the means are of losing her, I can't help but think they're not better off without her, because all she was going to do is indoctrinate them to be the nth degree of what she already is, which is a fucking monster. And I just saw your video not too long ago about the abuse and stuff. I haven't looked up the court records, but
I did.
You're literally the only person that I've heard say that. I've heard national news sources, I've heard FBI agents all say that the kids were actually removed from the home, and now they're in a custody battle, and they've been in a custody battle with the grandparents because the wife was abusive. And then somebody had said something about the wife had a previous charge of child abuse.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
Well,
I looked into it.
I understand this. I understand you looked into it, but here's where I look at. Okay, so I'm going to put this into the perspective of the cop. So now the big thing with the cop is there's all this internal bleeding. Bullshit. 100% fucking bullshit. I fix cars for a living that hit things. It didn't hit you hard enough. That's a Honda fucking Pilot. That didn't hit you hard enough to fucking make anything bleed. So what I think is happening is they're falsifying all this shit to keep the fire rolling, to keep people fucking pissed off. And I also, I wouldn't doubt for a second that they went in and reworked her fucking court records to say that she was a great person so that they could fight all the people that did get a hold of the previous records. You know what I mean? Like, it's a possibility. It's a huge possibility.
It could be. The thing is, like, there's far too many departments and paperwork and steps along the way. Like, there wouldn't be just one sheet of paper that says, put her cigarette out on a kid's arm, which I believe was one of the accusations.
Yeah.
There would be multiple papers. I don't know how many times anyone here's been to court.
I've been to court.
I've been to court.
Okay, so then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's never just one document.
Right.
Plenty. And there would be something there. There would be something in the dossier. There would be something in the complaint on top of which, if they had abused those two kids, they wouldn't have custody of the 6-year-old. The two older kids, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm speculating, they might have chosen to live with their dad, which is actually quite common for older kids. And when we think about the temperament of Renee Good, I wouldn't want to live with that woman if I was her kid.
Right.
So they had the opportunity because they were older, they were emancipated, I believe, the two older kids, and the 6-year-old is not, which is why they still have custody of the 6-year-old. Had they done any abuse whatsoever, even the slightest hint of it, they would not have custody of a 6-year-old. They just wouldn't.
But also, I will say to counterpoint that, those children would never have been emancipated in court with no reason. Kids don't get to go to court and be like, I want to be emancipated, and then they just make it happen. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
I meant age out emancipation. I meant like 18.
Oh,
I should have said aged up where they could. I know one of them is 18. I'm not sure of the other one's age.
right.
I know there's an 18-year-old and a 6-year-old, and that it's more likely that the two of them opted to live with the dad.
Well, and I would say though, like, I mean, it's very easy. We've seen that the government, it's very easy for them to clean up things that you would never ever would believe it was possible. When we look at who was that? Was that Thomas Crooks? They professionally scrubbed his apartment within 45 minutes. There was not a single piece of silverware in the entire apartment, not a fingerprint in the entire apartment. Like, they can make massive things happen very quickly.
I think it was. I don't think that it was scrubbed after the shooting, my friend. I think they scrubbed it before the shooting.
Possible. That is possible. After 96 trips from DC to his house.
Well, what I'm saying is that let's say you are correct, and whatever the CIA, FBI, whatever the shadow government's like, okay, we got to scrub this kid shit. We know he's going to take a shot at the president. They wouldn't be like, okay, shot him now, go scrub. Right. They would do it already, then let him shoot.
Could very well.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm just thinking like that's how I would do it.
Right. Yeah.
If I were the head of the shadow government planning to off the president, I would scrub the shit before the shot got fired. But that's just me.
Well, and here's another perspective to look at with this conversation that we're actually having right now. Maybe this is the point. Maybe the point of all of this is to get this conversation to happen right now, because you and I and Dave are all talking about this particular scenario going that way, going this way, going the other way. and we're not talking about what could be actually happening. You know what I mean? Like, does that, like, it's just like the bait and switch, like, we'll give them this and make them talk about that while we do this over here, you know? So
Well, Cliff, I'm a firm believer in the fact that the government is only going to let, they have to have things out there to distract you. So you have Renee, that is going to distract you from what's going on. I'm a firm believer in trying to pay attention behind the scenes kind of thing to see what's actually going on, because things are happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, that they don't want us to know about. That's why stuff like this happens. And that's the opportune time for them to be able to do whatever they need to do behind the scenes.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
you know, and then two, it takes the eyes off of Greenland, because I mean, the honest to God's truth about that is, again, we're everybody, whatever side you're on, you're talking about Renee Good, is fucking, you know,
Yep.
I believe is a 100% top to bottom, head to toe pile of shit. But we're all talking about her, while Trump is actually going to take us to war with NATO. And the funny part about that is, I've had the conversation, because a lot of the fun I have I'll be honest with you, a lot of the fun I have is trying to wake up conservatives. Like, dude, you're out here telling everybody that you're the solution, and you're nothing more than 50% of the problem.
Yes.
So let's have this conversation. And they always get real fucking amped up when I said, you know, when I bring up like, well, why do you agree with us going to aid Ukraine? You know, well, I don't think we should be giving them any money. If anything, we should just go over there and solve the problem and be done. Well, why do you believe that? Well, because Russia shouldn't be invading Ukraine. China shouldn't be invading Taiwan. Fucking, you know, all these places shouldn't be invading other places. Israel shouldn't be invading Gaza. But Donald Trump's literally doing the same fucking thing right now with Greenland. So Russia goes into Ukraine, bad. Fucking Israel goes into Gaza, bad. China goes to Taiwan, bad. America goes to Greenland. That's awesome. You know, like,
No, because everyone's playing team sports. That's what it is. And I think that why we sort of, vibe is that you and me, we're not playing team sports. We call it as we see it. And like, look, when I made that reel about it, I'm like, I wasn't so sure if that officer was scared for his life when he shot Renee Good. I knew that I was going to get shred for that.
Yeah.
But it was an honest opinion. I wanted to challenge myself, because that's how you actually grow, is by challenging your own assumptions. Now, I found out, and this was awesome, I had law enforcement messaging me, and I had these great conversations with them, and I changed my mind on it. As it turns out, the shooting officer, or allegedly, wasn't even the guy who said fucking bitch. It was the guy standing next to him. So I was wrong about that. And I can admit that. I can say, oh shit, okay, I totally got that wrong. But I didn't want to just leave that rock unturned, because it gets us all thinking and talking. And now, because I made that reel, I learned so much from police officers about what being in that moment is actually like. Because I've certainly never been in that moment where someone's trying to hit me with a car and I had a gun. I mean, I've had people try to hit me with a car. I just didn't have a gun. And they're all like, yeah, that's just what it comes down to is sometimes the officer shoots, sometimes the officer doesn't. The best way to find out which officer you're dealing with is by not trying to hit him with your car.
Right. That's like I said, there's easier ways to find out if you're bulletproof than fucking with a federal agent.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Right. You know, but and the thing with, like, I knew that it was the other cop, the cop that was actually asking her to get out of the car right out of the gate. Like, that was in the first video that got released, and then that one quickly got erased from the internet somehow because of this other perspective, this other angle. And it was just like, you know, and I like one of my best friends, Dominic Izzo, he has a really good take on it. He's like, it's about intent. Do you think that cop, and I believe you made a video on this too. It was about intent. Like, is that cop saying fucking bitch? Does that not prove that it was kind of vengeance based and not like, oh shit, what just fucking happened? You know?
Yeah, I got raked over the coals for that one.
Yeah, you did do it. Okay, yeah. But I like Dominic's, you know, his take on it, because he's like, yeah, you know, we're not in that situation, but that was a bad shoot. He's like, if nothing else, when you're standing in front of a car and a woman's got her foot to the floor and you kill her, what do you think that 4,000-pound vehicle is going to do when it's fully throttled? It's just going to take out the crowd, you know? I thought that was a pretty good take, but I think what we're seeing is an actual, you know, we always hear that never let a good tragedy go to waste or whatever. I think that's what we're watching. Like, I don't think that she was meant to get shot. I don't think that that was supposed to happen that way. But because it did happen that way, the powers that be, the right and the left, they work together like lawyers. They said, let's get it done. You know, let's light the fucking fire. We can keep these people so fucking divided. We can control them so easily if we just use this to our benefit.
Yeah, that's why I made that reel today about how I couldn't find anything searching court records to suggest that they were child abusers. And it was literally for the sake of saying, hey, guys, like, can we come together a little bit by at least just being honest about who these two women were? Yes, insufferable. Oh my God, I would not want to live anywhere near the two of them. But, you know, calling somebody a child abuser, that is a really, really, really heavy allegation. And if I'm going to call somebody that, I'm going to be looking at the arrest record. I'm going to see the words child abuser. I'm going to see the fucking stamp of guilty on the dossier before I call somebody that, because that's a really, that's a big one, you know, like I have my flaws. I do stupid shit all the goddamn time. But if somebody took the stupid things I do and said, oh, and he also sexually assaults people, I would lose my mind, because I've never done that and I never would. So it's like, yo, like, think that I'm an asshole for the reasons I'm an asshole. Go ahead, I don't care. Don't think I'm an asshole for shit I've never done.
Right. And that's what I appreciated about that video, is that, like, I still think I will still label both of them abusive, because you guys left a fucking child to go create a fucking bad situation for people.
They left the child at school.
They left her at school too, but they went out to create a bad situation for themselves and other people. This was never going to be a just them situation. They had everybody involved. So they were getting everybody put in harm's way. And you know what? When you're a parent, I'm a parent. And when you're a parent, your number one fucking job is to make sure you get home. So you don't do dumb shit like go start protests and get paid to agitate people, knowing that we live in a fucking very volatile society right now, and everybody's got a gun. She could have worn a bullet from anybody on that street. It just so happened to be from the cop, you know? Because I'll tell you what, if I was the guy in the house recording the video, I'd have fucking lit her up myself. You're going to sit there and wail on your horn and disturb my peace because you're going to try to defend people that don't fucking belong here? No, I'll fucking pump you full of lead myself.
Not even that they don't belong here. There was some of the most horrible, I mean, we're talking about child traffickers, child abusers. That's who she was protecting.
Yeah.
Good job.
I believe I believe they were trying to get somebody that had some warrants out for like sexually assaulting kids and stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken, if I read that correctly. It's like you're protecting this while your child's at school, where you should probably maybe, I don't know, get a full-time job and actually work, support your kids, stuff like that, stay out of fucking trouble. But see, that's what I don't understand, is like the leftists or the liberal mindset where they're so willing to protect the criminal over themselves, or the people that aren't criminals. It just blows my fucking mind.
You know what, man? I blame Jesus.
Please elaborate that, because I like it.
Please.
I like it. Please elaborate on that.
Yes. It's so the reason all of this leftist nonsense is totally Jesus's fault is because he brought to the West the idea of rooting for the underdog. He was the ultimate underdog. He was killed for his beliefs, but rose from the dead and all that, whatever. But essentially, if you trace Christian ethics over the centuries, it's all come to this terminus, I should say, of this highly feminized sort of society we're living in, where feelings matter more than facts and all that stuff. It all goes back to Jesus. All of it.
Well,
before that, you know what the Romans, how they dealt with shit? Oh, okay, well, your life sucks. Well, that's because you suck. Fuck off. That was how Rome dealt with it. Jesus came, oh, your life sucks? Oh, that's because of the evil Romans. That's because of all of these things outside of your control. Well, that's what leftists today say. It's never everybody's fault. It's always some outside force doing it.
Yeah, everybody's allergic to accountability these days. Nobody can, if I was a leftist, there's no way that I could look at the life that I've lived and blame it on me. Like, oh, I wasn't a fucking cokehead for years. I wasn't drug addicted fucking hate monger for years, getting myself in trouble over. It was always somebody else's fault. If my dad hadn't beaten me as a child, I wouldn't have gone down that road. You know, like it's just I call it extreme ownership. You know, it's like just own everything. Just a radical acceptance. You know, Jocko calls it extreme ownership. I call it radical acceptance. But radical acceptance is it's just no matter what happened to you or by you or whatever, it was your fucking fault. Now figure out how. That's the way I look at it. It's like I was beaten as a child. Okay, let's make that my fault. Let's figure out why it was my fault and how I can avoid it in the future. You know, just shit like that. It's one of those things that's helped me organize certain things, you know, in my own life, daily life, past lives, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but no, I think that's actually a good approach. Although I would argue, and I don't know if you're doing it more for the thought experiment, but I would argue that if your parents my parents beat me too, and sometimes it was because I was being shitty, and other times it's because my dad just was in that mood. You know?
No,
he had a bad fucking day.
Yeah, that was my house. My dad beat the fuck out of me 99% of the time because mom fucked up, stole his money. My sister, who is 10 years older than me but mentally retarded, so she's going to always be like she's like perpetually like a very slow 12-year-old. You know, she would fuck up and my dad would never hit her. Like never hit her. Horrific other stories, but never hit her. And the one good thing like I always appreciated about my dad was he always just kept the abuse to a physical abuse. It never got emotional, it never got spiritual, it never got mental, it never got sexual. Like I was never sexual. My dad was the furthest thing from a fucking pedophile you could ever imagine, but he would beat the fuck out of a kid across the county. You know?
Here's a good one for you. When I was younger, now this sucks because I was bullied, but I was bullied by somebody. My name is Tom Hatsis. I was bullied by a kid named Tim Hatsis. So anyway, I you know, this kid, he'd been bullying me for crazy. I'm sitting at dinner and I'm, you know, looking like a kid who's being bullied. And my dad's like, what's going on? I tell him. He pulls me out of the chair, he throws me in the car. He says, take me to his house. We go to the fucking kid's house. Dad on the door, boom, 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 boom. The mom, this is back in the early 90s. People still answered the door. Mom answers the door. My dad, get me the father. That was all he said, just get me the father. Dude comes down. He says, if your fucking son ever bullies my kid again, I'm sending him to school with a knife and he's going to stab your kid. And then fucking when he's 18, he'll be out of juvie and your kid will still be fucking dead.
Yeah, dude.
Left. And the next day, Tim comes up to me to apologize. I said, Tim, if you ever bully me again, I'm going to slit your fucking throat and I'm going to go to juvie. And when I'm 18, I'm going to be out and you're still going to be dead.
That's fucking awesome. Wow. That is now one of my favorite stories ever.
Yes. Oh, wow.
He's going to get out when he's 18 and your kid's still going to be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love your fucking dad already.
I do too. He's a great dad.
Yeah, but you know, on that note, I think the world could benefit from a little bit of bullying these days. You know, it's weird as it sounds. Like if we brought bullies back, like people were harder. Like, you know, our generations, we handle life better. And we were all bullied. Every last one of us was fucking bullied until we were forced to not be bullied. Like until we were forced to put that problem to bed, we were bullied. And but that was part of growing up. It was part of growth as a human being. It was part of learning how to deal with extreme adversity. You know, when these people now, they don't know how to deal with adversity. You know, anything goes wrong. It's like, I compare them a lot to ASE mechanics. ASE certified mechanics are great as long as everything in that fucking job happens like it does in the book. But as soon as it doesn't go like it does in the book, they have no fucking idea how to handle it. They got to call the redneck in that's just been wrenching in his yard since he was 2, you know, to fix the problem. It's just, it's weird like that. It's a weird balance.
Yeah, we have that out here in Oregon because we have psilocybin-assisted therapy, and the people that actually go to the therapy school, like I would never want to sit with any of those people because, to your point, like if it's not in the book, if they can't find, they don't know what to do because they have no real experience doing this kind of work. So it's very I mean, you're walking on a fucking knife edge when you do the kind of work that I do. And so it's just, you have to, you certainly don't want to get your information about how to handle somebody having a bad trip from a DEI instructor, which is what all of the instructors here are in all of the facilities. They're all DEI instructors. I actually got called in to give to teach a class on psychedelic history in one of the facilitator schools, and I got kicked out because I taught them that the war on drugs isn't racist. I know everybody, that's like this huge thing, the war on drugs is racist. Look, I wrote a whole fucking book about that, so it's not. And they got really mad. They got really mad that there's this thing in psychedelia where you have to pretend that indigenous people invented psychedelic therapy when they didn't. It was invented in the West. They got mad at that. So yeah, I was never again asked to teach a class on psychedelic history.
So now, do you facilitate medicine then?
Yes.
In that kind of aspect? Okay, because me and my wife, my cousin, actually, he came back from Portland. He was with psilocybin and all that stuff. And my wife went through a lot of the medicine treatments, like facilitate, getting the medicine. She did ayahuasca and all that stuff as well. And it like dramatically helped her so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great stuff. It really, it's a shame that there's still so much stigma around it because these are very powerful medicines, and I'm looking forward actually in this coming year to start working more with like police officers, first responders, vets, because the literature on like the studies and stuff done on them, I mean, it's a miracle for these people. And we know vets come back here and our fucking government treats them like shit. So I want to see if I can sort of step into that role to help them out a little bit. Because I've watched it work with other people, and I have worked with one vet a long time ago, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, really.
Let's break down what you actually do. So just for people listening, I know you and I have had this conversation a little bit, but tell everybody like what it is that you do, because people hear psilocybin and that word has those connotations to it where you're just like, and people retract. But what I've noticed is I'm nowhere, I don't have any intelligence when it comes to that kind of shit. But hallucinogenics, I will say, like, I hear so many fucking amazing things about like ibogaine and ayahuasca, and having these guided tours through your own spirituality, and like like Rogan will talk about it too, where they'll have military vets go for their ibogaine treatment, and one treatment, and like PTSD is fucking gone, all symptoms gone, erased, like it never happened. And I can't help but believe that that's why people that facilitate that kind of treatment, that kind of guided tour to help people, I feel like that's why the government doesn't want that, because we're owned by big pharma, and we're owned by big tech, and we're owned by Israel. We're owned by everybody but the American people. And those people that own us, they do not benefit from that stuff. So enlighten people as to this psilocybin thing, because you're incredibly versed, incredibly intelligent on the subject.
Well, thank you. First, I just want to say, so anybody wondering, this is ibogaine, what Cliff just mentioned. This is what it looks like. It is a root from the boswellia tree in Africa, and the journey lasts for about 2 days, or about 30 hours, a day and a half or so. It's really long, and from what I hear, I haven't taken a full-on flood dose. I've microdosed with it, but what I hear is that it's like your grandfather pretty much yelling at you, telling you, like, laying out the story of your life like a comic book, and just going frame by frame, showing you how you fucked up all throughout your life. That's essentially what it is. Yeah, I have ayahuasca in my freezer. I don't know, my altar here. There's like more psychedelics on that altar than is probably in a fucking I don't know, like a police like drug room or whatever. But so with psilocybin, yeah, what would you like to know about it?
Well, I think what I'd like to start with is, because I have some confusion on the mushroom thing, right? So I had made a comment about Amanita muscaria, and somebody said that's not psilocybin, that's this other thing, and psilocybin isn't the only thing that gets you tripping. So can we start there, and just to
Sure. So, this is the Amanita muscaria that Cliff just brought up.
You got Dave drooling, man.
Oh, dude,
Hell yeah.
I have like 10 jars of these filled. Like I go mushroom foraging every year. I love it. But so Amanita muscaria and psilocybin are two very different mushrooms in that they interact with two different parts of the brain. Psilocybin interacts with the 5-HT2A receptors the same way LSD, DMT, ayahuasca does. Amanita muscaria interacts with the GABA receptors, which is the same receptors alcohol interacts with. The difference is that if you keep drinking alcohol, you're not going to get higher, you're just going to feel shittier. With Amanita muscaria, you can break through that into a sort of a psychedelic experience. It's weird because it isn't psychedelic the way psilocybin is. And the best way I could explain it is like this. When I am doing my ritual work and I'm using psilocybin, I'm no longer in my altar space. I am up in the mystic realm, talking to deities, all that. Okay, so essentially psilocybin brings me to the other world. Amanita muscaria brings the other world to me. Amanita muscaria, like I'm still in my room, but everything is enchanted. Like it's just like you can see every grain on a piece of wood. I remember once I was laying, looking out my window. My kitty cat was right next to me, and right here, I could feel every single individual blade of her fur on my arm. All of them. Like I could have counted them. Amanita's kind of like that.
That's how I felt with ecstasy. Like I'd take so many ecstasies. I took like 7 double stacked fish at one night, and
Jesus.
And yeah, oh yeah. I when it comes to drugs, I don't fucking play around. Like I'm all the way in it now. But like I took 7 double stacked fish, and then we ended up at this bar called Greenleaf. It's just a bar down the street, but it was a late night bar, and all the gangbangers hung out there. But it was open till 4 a.m. and we were fucking rolling hard. So we left this other place, went there, and as soon as I walked in, I saw one of the waitresses there that I knew, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're fucking rolling." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Dude, I can't even see that you have any color in your eyes." And she goes like, she reaches up and she goes like this, and like pushes her, like, and I had just I'm always been bald, but it was just buzz cut. Like you said, like I felt every single hair in my head as it flipped out of her hand. I was just like, oh, fucking locked up. That's an amazing feeling.
In fact, I was telling you when we were trying to put this together, I was saying I was going to Tennessee, and so we had to work around. Yeah, I'm going to Tennessee to facilitate 5-MeO-DMT.
Thanks.
That's where I'm going. So
that's and really? DMT is the one that I like. I'm a big one for uppers, and I'm a big one for hallucinogens. Like I want to see some shit, So when I would eat mushrooms and shit, like I every time I ever ate mushrooms, I ate an eighth of mushrooms by the handful. I just poured the bag out into my fucking hand, chewed that shit up like a man. Everybody around me is putting it on peanut butter or pizza or this and that. I just chew that shit, get through it like it's a mouthful of dirt and cigarette butts, and then you deal with that 20, 30 minutes of and then it's fucking game on. If you got popcorn ceilings, you're winning. What is that now? Is that, what kind of mushroom is that? Like when somebody says, I'm got mushrooms coming, because mushrooms are extremely hard to find in our area, which is why I haven't fucking shroomed in fucking years. But what is, because you're not getting Amanita muscaria, you're getting some other kind of mushroom, correct?
Well, I get both. So let's see, right now I have Amanita muscaria, Amanita pantherina, golden teachers, psilocybe, cyanescence. I think just 4 for right now.
Dave's losing it. Dave's losing it. Yeah. He loves the shit. But now,
look, if you just real quick, if you're ever having trouble finding anything you need over in the Chicago area, hit me up.
I will.
Well, Tom, and I'm going to definitely keep that in mind because my wife, she follows you as well as I do over there on Instagram, and she's gone through all the medicine and all that stuff. So I'm familiar with it on her aspect because she was going through it because, to help get off of some of the pharmaceutical stuff that she was on. My cousin at the time, he was the facilitator, but I don't think he was a very good facilitator of the medicine. So we ended up finding some other people that was able to facilitate, and she's done San Pedro, she's done ayahuasca, she's done, we have a DMT pen, stuff like that. And
Yeah, that would write you somewhere.
and it really, and especially with the mushrooms, we have a little drawer, we have some mushrooms still, like in gummies, and, just microdosing it just really helps to rewire everything. But I don't think she knew that you were a facilitator, so I'm going to have to let her know, and she's going to love you even more now.
So
It's not something that I'm going to be talking about it a little bit more in the coming months. But my whole thing, because I have people sometimes, it's like, hey, how come you're not talking about psychedelic stuff? What's with all this culture stuff? It's like, well, first of all, when I was talking about psychedelic stuff, you didn't give a shit. You didn't like my post, you didn't comment, you didn't shit, you didn't do anything. I talk about culture war shit and I get 1 million fucking views. Why would I not?
right.
Right. Exactly.
So, Mike, when you go, okay, so standard issue mushrooms, like your buddy says, hey, I got mushrooms, not your buddy, but normal people's buddies. I got mushrooms. They're coming. You want some? What are those mushrooms? Like, what kind of mushrooms are those typically?
So probably, I'm taking yes. It's most likely Psilocybe cubensis, the Liberty Cap.
I have heard that when you say cubensis rings a bell. So
yeah, because you're in Illinois, and so it grows on the cow shit. So you probably have. I mean, not probably outside of Chicago, like in the more rural areas, you probably have a lot of cubensis growing.
is it just as simple as that? Is if you were to buy a bag of mushrooms and a bucket of cow shit, is it really just that simple as you just crush up the mushrooms and throw them at the cow shit and then they grow?
That I don't know. I have no idea. I've never tried to do that. I don't know.
People fucking told me a while
easier
back.
ways to do it so you don't have to deal with cow shit. I mean, I've grown mushrooms and I've never used cow shit.
Okay. Because that's what I heard back in, of course, this is back in the day, buddy, you just fucking, if you want mushrooms, just grab buy a bag from fucking, so-and-so and just steal some cow shit from the farm next door and fucking blah, blah, blah.
Look, I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I mean, the spores drop from the mushroom and they do grow new it's not, I mean, that guy, he's not saying anything outlandish. It might not work, but theoretically, I don't know. I just want to say I don't know, but I'm not like, oh, what a crazy idea. No, that might work. I don't know though.
I would prefer not to eat mushrooms out of shit. That's just me.
I mean, most people, right?
It doesn't taste very, I mean, they already don't taste very good. I mean, I prefer not to eat them out of shit.
So as a facilitator of these hallucinogenics, do you work with all of the mushrooms and like facilitating that journey for these people that you help out? Or do you generally kind of stay in one lane or two lanes with that?
It depends on what the person needs. Some people need MDMA therapy. Some people, want mushrooms. Some people like LSD. My buddy wants to try 5-MeO DMT. It's, I try to cater. I mean, I've been working with this stuff for now going on 26 years. So, I do my best to just, what is the correct, I call them sacra medicines. It's because it's a sacrament and a medicine. What is the right sacra medicine for this person? Like, what are they going through? And based on that, we'll have a conversation. It's like, oh, mushrooms might be good, but actually ayahuasca might be a little bit better for you, for X, Y reasons,
Right. When it comes to the DMT, okay, so I've had very minimal engagement on the topic, but every time the topic of DMT comes up, Rogan's always quoted and his little journeys and his stories or whatever. How really deep does DMT really put you into your own, like, what did one guy say? It was like a solo verse is what he calls it. Like, it's your universe. You're the only motherfucker in it. And you just keep diving deeper and deeper and deeper. Like when we're talking DMT, how far gone does that really get you?
Right, not 5-MeO. You mean just DMT?
I don't know. You're gonna help me out with this.
So we'll break them both down. So there's DMT, and then there's 5-MeO DMT. DMT takes you to what Terence McKenna called hyperspace. That's essentially, I call it the machinery that essentially holds up the universe as we know it. That's what DMT does for me. That's where the entities are, the aliens, the thought forms, like seeing just
Kind of like
how.
acid.
What's that?
Kind of like acid.
Kind of, it's no, not for me. Not for me. For me, they're very different. But for some, it could be similar. I've never heard somebody say that they thought they were similar. Dave, what do you think about that? DMT and LSD, do you think they're similar at all?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I don't think so.
So DMT, it takes you to sort of hyperspace, or if we want to get into Kabbalism, I would call it the Ein Sof Or, which is, when atheists say, like, there's only material reality, that's weird. I know of at least 3 realities beyond material reality. DMT will take you to one of them, which is hyperspace. Now, ayahuasca, which is also DMT, but because it's longer lasting, that will break you out of hyperspace and into the mystic realm, or, again, to quote the Kabbalists, the Ein Sof. Beyond that is the Godhead that you get with 5-MeO-DMT. There's no entities, there's no me, there's no you, there's no space, there's no time, there's no kitty cats, sadly. There's just you become a particle of God. You get to witness all of creation, like the whole fucking thing, from the vantage point of being a particle on God's arm. It is fucking insane. And like with 5-MeO-DMT, it's like, it's weird because when I do it, it's like I can see all of space and all of time at the same, like right there. But right now, I can't produce a memory of it. Is that odd? Because I'm in my meat brain. But I have seen it, but I can't actually retrieve that memory because my brain isn't in that space to be able to do so.
I love this conversation because growing up, it was like you had mushrooms and you had acid. That's at least in my area. That's
me too.
and the way I would always tell people is like one bends the rules and one changes the fucking rules. Like one etch a sketches that bitch. It makes its own rules, which is acid, and then and then mushrooms just kind of puts you in that different realm, different state of mind. But listening to you talk, especially because you actually know what you're talking about. You're not just some drained fucking weirdo that is, just rehashing what he heard in a book. This is a great conversation because I'm opening up to this, like where there's so many different kinds. I didn't know that there was this many different kinds, and B, this many different, what they did. Like they did this many different things. Like it was, it's like some people look at weed like, weed's weed. No, it's fucking not.
No,
weed is not fucking weed. Like there's a lot of different weeds out there, just don't talk to your local bud tender about it because they don't know anything about it. But, no, go ahead. Absolutely.
Say, and I get raked over the coals for this too, but I consider cannabis to be a low-level psychedelic.
No, I would agree to that.
I think it is. And when people say, oh, it's not psychedelic, I say, yo, have you ever imbibed 5 grams of hash? Because if you haven't, go do that and then tell me how you did not have a psychedelic experience. The thing is with cannabis, the reason we don't consider it psychedelic is because when we combust it, we're not getting the full strength of its power. That's why when you eat a confection, it's so much like, oh my God, it's like so much more, right? It's because you're not burning up the trichomes on the actual bud. You're just opening them up. That's what gets you high. It's the release of the THC from the trichomes. When you use a lighter to combust it, you're burning up the majority of the good stuff. I mean, you're still getting high from it, but that's why when you hash or a confection or cooking with it, you get so much higher because you're not burning up the trichomes.
See, and that sucks for me because I'm one of those people that edibles do nothing for. I like one day my buddy came over and he's like, dude, I got candies. I was like, save them, man. They don't do anything for me. He had 20 milligrams. My wife took 50 milligrams. I ate 150 milligrams. Those two were fucking whacked out. And I was just like, I had 4 minutes of like, this might be starting to be okay. And then it went away.
Okay. Well, I have here. Sorry.
And see, I can't even. I can't eat
It's
it
not
either.
ready yet, but this is going to be a cannabis potion that, Cliff, I assure you, if I send you some of this shit, it is going to blow your ass away because this is not FDA approved.
That sounds good and that sounds good and looks good.
So what is a cannabis potion exactly? Because I like cannabis. I grow cannabis.
Yes.
Like that's one of my businesses. Like
Yeah, so this one is just cannabis, but I make another one called the Quintessence, which is a mixture of psilocybin, henbane, mandrake, and cannabis.
I don't know what any of that is other than cannabis, but it sounds like a fucking wild ride.
Okay, so henbane is I have some, it's over there. Henbane is essentially what medieval wise women were using to have psychedelic experiences. So is mandrake. They're both highly psychoactive plants. We don't use them anymore. Well, I do, but most people don't use them anymore because they're very dangerous. The difference between like a psychedelic dose and a deadly dose of henbane is very, very slim, very slim. So, yeah, I use the henbane. Mandrake is another solanaceous plant, again, highly psychoactive. And when you mix, I have found psilocybin with mandrake, it is the closest you'll get to a 100% natural MDMA.
And that's like ecstasy then, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
You just
Is it
got
hot in here? Or is it just you? Like I said, I love them uppers.
Yeah, it'll
No.
the quintessence will that'll when people say, "Oh, I won't trip," yeah, you're gonna trip your fucking, but you're gonna love it because it's gentle as fuck. It's like you're just like really fucking high and you're feeling the effects of the mandrake interacting with the psilocybin, so you're getting the very warm like MDMA touchy-feely feelings. It's good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of mushrooms. Like, I've been a little nervous about doing them ever since, because like it seems like I mean, this was better than a decade ago now that I did mushrooms, but it seemed like every time I did mushrooms, something really terrible happened. Like the last time I did mushrooms, my mom had a heart attack. So I had to go to the hospital, shrooming my balls off, that kind of shit, So
That's never any good.
Because I know that phenomenon very well. Do you ever take mushrooms in a ritualized state?
I do not. I have not. It was always in a group of fucking rejects where it's just like, get them down.
That's why.
That's why.
That is literally why. I guarantee it. Thank you, Dave, for backing me up on that one.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
Look, and here's where I get woo-woo, and
I like it.
Gonna hate my fucking guts, but look, these sacraments have a spirit to them.
Mm-hmm.
And every time when I was a kid, I did the same thing, Cliff. When I first started, I would just fuck around here and there. Something bad always happened because I was disrespecting the sacrament.
Yes.
As soon as I started to respect it and treat it like a living entity that deserved my just recognition, I don't have bad trips, man. Like,
That's awesome.
It doesn't happen.
I'm dying to fucking get some goddamn mushrooms. Like, I'm fucking.
Right, well, what kind do you want? I mean, what do you want?
That's a little bit of a long drive. What's the legality on that? Like,
On what?
on mushrooms?
Oh, in Illinois?
Yeah. Well, they're probably. Everything's illegal in Illinois except weed.
Oh,
yeah.
So.
Oh,
Yeah, I believe mushrooms are illegal here in Illinois.
yeah. I mean, it's look, they were decriminalized here in Oregon. They're recriminalized, but nobody cares. Like, nobody's getting busted for having mushrooms out here.
Yeah, as long as you got junkies shooting up on the street, mushrooms.
No, they're not getting arrested either. So, yeah. Crime is legal in Portland. So, now in some ways that works because people eating mushrooms that have LSD on them, they're not getting fucked with. But it also sucks because you have people smoking fentanyl outside of people while they're trying to open up their fucking businesses.
Right. Yeah, I love this conversation because, for me, it's back in the day, like, again, it wasn't ritualized or anything, like I said, but there were elements of my trips, and not only like on mushrooms, but my rolls on ecstasy, where I could get to a place where I didn't wrestle so much, especially with religion, with deities, with so many of these things that I would wrestle with. I would get to a point where, like I think on your show, actually, we talked about like, I credit ecstasy for me not being a skinhead anymore. Like,
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Like ecstasy was the only thing that allowed me to get all the way outside of not only my little compartment, but the box that was in, and the box that was in, and the box that was in. That was really the only way that it opened up something in the back of my head. That's as best as I can explain it. Is there was a door, and I remember the moment. There was a doorway, and I just like, it just appeared out of nowhere. Like this doorway, I was off in fucking space, and I was like, let's go through the fucking door. Because I was really amped up that day. Let's go through the fucking door. And next thing you know, I'd walk through the door, and all I heard was voices saying, they're people too. They're people too. That's all I would say. They're people too. You know? So I credit things in my own life to psychedelics. Having somebody like you that actually knows, like you speak with an authority that it doesn't automatically make people question. And I'm sure you of all of us know better than anybody that people think they know a lot about this shit, and then they want to try to speak with authority, but the people that actually know are go, shut the fuck up. You know, you don't give that vibe. You give that vibe. You're like, you start speaking about this stuff, and you're like, we should really listen to this.
Well, yeah, when people, if somebody starts sensationalizing when they're talking about psych, they don't know what they're talking about. It's just that simple. It's like, oh, it's the best. It's this. It helps everyone. It's like, all right, you're full of shit, man. That's not, and you're gonna probably hurt somebody if you keep saying that. So stop saying that. Like, you have to screen people. Like, come on. Like, you can't just hand these things to people like that. They're very powerful. And I don't mean that from a gatekeeper perspective. I mean it from like, yeah, I want everyone to have this experience, but you have to do some work on yourself first. One of the problems with psychedelics is that a lot of us put the cart before the horse. It's like we use the medicines first and then we figure our shit out. It's actually way more valuable if you figure your shit out first, because then you can actually use the insights from the experience to go beyond what you needed to fix, because you already fixed it. Now you can go past that. So I say fix your shit first, then have the experience. You'll be much happier.
But I also believe that if you go into a ceremony like this with good intentions, you have to have intentions when you're going through these kind of 100%. Ceremonies, especially with mushrooms. Yep. So that way you're not going to have that bad trip or anything like that, and you can actually work on the things that you're putting those intentions out for, and then you can come out of it and be like feeling so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have bad trips, because for me at least, and I'm not pushing any dogma on anybody, like, for me, when I eat mushrooms or I drink ayahuasca, I know that I am being connected to whichever goddess or god I want to communicate with. And so when I take it, like, that's where I go. For me, psychedelics are not a chaotic thing. It's not this great, oh my God, though, like, no, it's actually more real than real. It's ultimate reality. Mm-hmm. But again, I do it in a highly ritualized way. Like, I have a lesser mystery that I do before the experience. I do a whole ritual without any, additives, medicine, sacrament, nothing, just so that the goddess knows I'm serious. Then I do what I call the greater mystery, which is taking the medicine and doing more ritual work, and works every time. I just sit in the bosom of Gaia and heal some shit and work out traumas and discover things that I can do that I didn't think I could. It's good shit. I love it.
I hear about these guided tours, especially with the ibogaine and the ayahuasca, and I just I can't help but think, like, there's been so many things in my life that I've done, you learn it on the internet, you hear it, whatever, and then you just figure it out as you go. And then I've redone those things, like with coaches, let's take my food addiction thing. Like, I've been a food addict since I was a kid. It was like the only thing that ever made me smile and didn't judge me, but I've got a coach, and he's put the system that I'm operating on in a palatable method that makes me feel comfortable, because it's being taught to me. I'm not just figuring it out. And when you talk about these guided tours, or when anybody talks about these guided tours through your consciousness, ever since day one, I heard that was a thing. Like, I've always wanted to do it. Like, I want to go on a guided tour with somebody that knows that through my consciousness, you know, no fucked up thing about it. Just let's take this journey, you know. I just thought that'd be really cool. And it's kind of interesting that you are actually facilitating that for a lot of people, because I can only imagine how many people that you work with that felt just like I did, you know, like I want to fix this stuff. I want to figure this stuff out. I want to take this journey, if nothing else, but I'm nervous to do it myself, which also leads you to a bad trip. You know, if you go into it with bad feelings or you're surrounded with shitty people, like especially with acid, you're going to have a bad trip. Like Garen fucking Teed, if you're surrounded by bad fucking people, you are going to have a bad trip.
They're non-specific amplifiers. Psychedelics are non-specific amplifiers. They're just going to amplify whatever the hell is going on. That's why I do it in a highly ritual context, because then it amplifies the spiritual side of it.
Yeah, that's awesome, because that's
real quick. Do you have a couch?
I do.
Okay. Well, then whenever you want, I'm more than happy to come out and give you a guided tour.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, it's going to be so on. We're going to be fucking doing this.
Let me know. This is what I do. Hey, let me know.
Could I join that tour?
No, fuck you, Dave.
Get the fuck out of here, Dave.
Slides gently off camera. Yeah,
You can't get rid of me that quick.
That would be really fucking cool. You know, that just, I don't know. I like, it's maybe not even like just, I don't know, just to have somebody like us. But well, the other thing is too, is like, you know, I can talk to you and, you know, and somebody might say, you know, like some random person might say like, yeah, just eat enough mushrooms, you figure it out. But you're be like, no, that's not the ones you need. This is the ones you're probably going to want to have. You know, what are you wrestling with? Like if I came to you and let's do a hypothetical, like let's say, you know, I'm wrestling with religion. You know, I'm sliding out of Christianity and I'm sliding into paganism, like, because it just feels righter to me. It feels more right that, you know, it just feels like, you know, this is a religion of bow to me and trust only in me. And this is a religion of, you know, trust in us, but also trust in you and do the fucking work too. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I misunderstood at first. I had said, when you first said somebody struggling with religion, I was like, ayahuasca, to say somebody who isn't religious, maybe they wanted to be. But in the case you're talking about, I think golden teachers. It's a kind of mushroom. They're very, very gentle. They're the kind that I recommend for most people because they're not going to just climb on top of you and start clawing away at your soul. They're going to work with you, and they're just easier. And when you're in that state, you don't want tough. You want fucking easy.
Yeah,
nice and fucking simple, because it's. But you get some really, really, really cool places. I mean, again, I do it all the time. I don't, I mean, every time I do it, like I'm writing a book about it right now. Just sort of like, it's essentially like my grimoire. It's like all of the weird ritual witchy shit that I do when no one's around. I'm working on that right now. And you're into like the Norse stuff, right? Yeah. Cliff, you like the pagan stuff?
Dave brought me in. I was Christian, man. Like I've always wrestled with it, so I'll loosely say I was Christian. And then we did an episode on it, and like I was like, let's break this down, because I had some listeners wanting to be like, okay, so you keep calling him a Viking, put him to the test. Let's see what he knows, you know? So we did an episode, and he broke some shit down, and I was just like, this makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense too. Yep, that makes sense too. It's just something that I felt, you know, and I understand that all these different religions and spiritualities and all this other stuff is, you know, they have their certain callings to everybody. Everybody will be called by a certain thing. Like some people are called by Christianity. Some people are called by that trash religion we call Islam. Some people are called by other things. And, you know, it was just, this is something that I feel good about, you know, like the pantheon of gods, a democracy of gods, and somebody, you know, everybody's a specialist kind of thing. So,
yeah, I mean, my religion is, you know, it's different, but it's similar in the sense that it's polytheistic. But what I'm getting at is like, what we would do is we would set up like the environment for you, the room, whatever room you did this in, we would set it up like Nordic as fuck. Like what we would be doing is finding the circuit to channel and get to your ancestors. And when I say channel, I don't mean you're going to suddenly be like, I am speaking now. I don't mean like that. I mean, going back and finding the paradigms of your ancestry, the reason, like our culture today obviously was built from previous cultures over in Europe, right?
Yeah.
But there's still, when you go to Europe, you could see that there's still subtle differences between the old world and new. And what I would recommend for you, Cliff, is like we would like set it up like hardcore, like Nordic, like God kind of style, like something that would make fucking Odin proud. And then we would do it, because then we would be amplifying your specific ancestry, the thing that you want to tap into. Not specific amplify. That's how it works.
I'm all the way down. We're going to have a lot of fucking Raven shit, because Hugin and Noonan are my fucking, they're my dogs, man.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been on the pursuit of wisdom, like, you know, and it's not something I realized early on, you know, as a kid, but when I look back, it's like, you know, being like, I was incredibly abused, and I always spent my time alone, because when I was in groups, they just used me as a muse. They picked on me. They did all this other shit. And I would stay there because I felt that need to belong. And I had to work through that tribalistic nature in our core to get out of that. Like, okay, I don't belong with you. I don't belong with you. Maybe I just belong by myself, and I'll figure this out. And that's when I got really, really in tune with nature, because I could just sit with nature. I could sit and listen to the birds. I could sit and watch foxes. I could sit and watch deer. You know, I could just, and they didn't pay any attention to me. Like, they didn't give a fuck that I was there at all. But everywhere else I was, when it was humans around, they always seemed to give a fuck that I was there. And I didn't like that. So, you know, just going through all that and being incredibly rooted in nature. And, you know, when we talk about cannabis and we talk about, you know, these mushrooms and stuff, like I've got, obviously I've had a history with man-made drugs, but the natural ones, I believe, are the ones that, the man-made drugs let you forget about some shit, but the earth meds, so to speak, those ones allow you to figure it out.
Yep. I couldn't agree more, man. Although I would also say that MDMA is man-made, but it helps you figure shit out.
Yeah, true story.
Look, well, Cliff, we're going to call that the exception that proves the rule. Because other than that, I agree with the rest of what you said. Yeah, and that's like, it's this weird thing, like whenever somebody says like, oh, you like mushrooms, what, you can't handle reality? It's like, no, you can't handle reality. That's why you've never had mushrooms.
Well, and it goes all the way back into the history of mankind. I mean, you know, for thousands of years, people were, you know, opium dens and all this other shit. Like, that's why, and, you know, and then you get like, one of my favorite people out there, Sam Tripoli, and he's, I don't know if you're familiar with him, comedian, podcaster, but he's way, way, way out there when it comes to some stuff. Not in a bad way, just, he's, you know, he understands, like, I think he said there's like 11 different realities, and, you know, we don't know a quarter of our power anymore, because we've been taught that the things that unlocked our powers, unlocked our view of our powers, are bad, and we can't do those and stuff like that. So when we talk about hallucinogenics, that's where I sit with it, is that brings you to your power. Like, that opens your eyes. Like again, I'll revert back to the ecstasy story. That unlocked a certain power in me to take control of my own mind, my own heart, and my own emotional structure, to say that this was bad from an internal perspective, not just an external, I'm telling myself this is bad because they said it's bad. I am telling myself this isn't right. We need to work on this, you know?
Yeah. It's like, mushrooms are good. As long as you're not doing it in a stupid way, as long as you're ready for it, they are a good thing for a lot of people. Not everybody, of course, but for a lot of people, they are. And Dave, it looks like you wanted to say something.
No, I'm just, I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm just soaking it all in. I'm me personally, you know, with everything that's been going on with my life just recently, I'm so glad I made this show tonight. I made it a purpose to make this show tonight. And I'm definitely glad I did, because what you're talking about resonates with me so much right now. And it's like, wow, I'm really blown away. So,
yeah. And Cliff, back to your question about that person that's like, they were Christian, they're thinking of being pagan. What would you do? Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing that I would do is just remind that person that the mystical realm is fucking huge, and there are all kinds of deities in there. Yeah. And what I would say is just go there, and you'll attract to it. it'll attract you. Like when I do my work, like I discovered the goddesses. I work with three main goddesses, and it was just like that. I took mushrooms and I just started exploring that space, and I met these entities and these beings and whatnot. And then I finally found, oh, this actually makes sense for me. This is my goddess. This makes sense to me. And you feel it. You feel it in your being. You feel it in your heart, your soul, your mind when you connect with that. So yeah, let's get connected to that, man.
That's how I feel about it,
yeah.
because going through this little paganistic journey, like, I mean, I'm in. Don't get me wrong, like I'm in, but because, and there's so many things to it. It's like I've always just felt like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, the Abrahamic religions were just a series of control. Like, I want the people to do what I want the people to do, but they won't do it because I said so. So I've got to now say that you're going to suffer eternally in this afterlife if you don't do what I said, because I say what he says, and he's somebody you can't meet. Like, I understand that, and even when in my childhood, Odin especially plays a big role in neo-Nazism. Like, Odin's rune, Othala's rune, warrior rune. Like, we would use these as symbols of our white powerness, for lack of better terms, that people will understand. But we would use these as symbols for what we were believing in. And I did get a connection to Odin because once I heard when I was a child that Odin was the god of wisdom, I didn't even hear the rest of what was told. Like, he's the god of wisdom. Wisdom's what I need, because wisdom's going to unfuck my brain to figure out. Because like when I was 12 years old, I went through a pretty bad period where, I'm putting the story in my book actually, where I nestled down and I was blowing my fucking brains out that day. I was done being here. I was done being the whipping boy for everything that pissed my dad off. So I went into this spare bedroom we had, and my dad was a hoarder. So anything that he could get, he would take if it was a good deal, and that was where I always say it's only a good deal if you need it. And he didn't need any of it. But we had this spare bedroom, and our house was trails. Like, you just walked through trails and everything was just stacked up. Well, I nestled myself down. I grabbed his Ithaca over under 12 gauge. And I found one shell for it, and it was over today. I was super excited. I slid the shell in. I nestled down into this fucking mess of just hoarder shit. And I fucking put the thing in my mouth, and I put my toe on the trigger, and I fucking hit it, and it clicked. And I got super pissed. I thought the gun was broke. So I got super, super pissed. I fucking stood up. I threw the gun in the fucking closet, and then fucking walked off and did my thing. Well, later on, several weeks later, my dad found, he's like, "How the fuck did a round get in my gun?" And he's like, "Chipper," because that was my nickname, because I'm the third generation. So we had to distinguish everybody. "Chipper, what the fuck you doing with my gun?" And then he beat the fuck out of me, and I was just like, well, I couldn't get it to work, and he's like, what were you trying to shoot? Squirrels? You don't shoot squirrels with a shotgun. I was like, well, how does it work? And he's like, and then he got that weird feeling, like, he's like, maybe I don't need to tell you, just go to your fucking room, but it was things like that I would struggle with. And, and that was one of those moments where I was seeking wisdom, after that was all over. I remember I just need wisdom. I just need to know what I don't know and how to know what I can't know. And so I've always had this very tight attachment with Odin. And then, now in modern day, I'm a Balder and Tyr fan as well. But yeah, that would be an incredible fucking incredible journey, especially with somebody that I can trust to not fuck me up or overdose me or some shit,
No, absolutely not, man. And I feel you on like the religious control thing. And I think that's what turns a lot of people, like I said, because I have friends that are Christians. I'm like, look, just take that one line. No one comes to the Father but through me. Just get rid of that one line, and I don't have a fucking problem with the whole rest of your religion.
Yeah, the gatekeeping then.
Yeah, it's just that, yeah, like you said, it's like, oh, well, you can't meet God, so you got to talk to me. It's like, yeah, and that's one of the reasons I think that psychedelics are suppressed, is because it gives you that direct experience. You don't need the priest at that point. You don't need the imam. Well, nobody needs an imam. Like, you just don't need them anymore, because you're getting the fucking download straight from above, and you don't need the intermediary, and that puts them out of a job. I mean, the same thing with people still screaming about systemic racism. Why are they screaming about systemic racism? Because they don't have a job unless there is systemic racism.
Yeah.
And now there isn't. So they just whine about it so they can keep getting their fucking paychecks.
And that's how I feel about therapy. I've been to school mandated therapy, court mandated therapy on my own accord to try to, genuinely take a step forward and whatnot. And these therapists, and mind you, like now I'm friends with a lot of therapists and psychiatrists and whatnot. I said I'm co-authoring a book with one of them. That's how I look at therapy. Like when I tell people, you don't need therapy, like you need to fix your shit. You need to get over this, because every time you go to therapy, what's the very first thing they do? They have you rehash everything that's making you fucking hurt, so that you have to keep coming back because they got to pay for that fucking new Beamer they just bought.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. It's the what was I just about to say? They like therapy today. It's not even designed to help you because it's all Freudian. And that's why everybody's a fucking mess, because Freud's whole thing is just keep regressing. You have to dig it out, dig it out, dig it out. It's like, no, what you need to do is move forward. Everybody has bad shit happen to them. We all have our traumas, boo fucking who. Now put your big kid pants on and fucking make something of yourself.
Right.
We all have that shit.
Yeah. Use it as fuel. I use all my bad shit as fuel. Like if nothing else, I want to spend my life using all of your words against you through my own action, building my life to a fucking place that you want to have it. And then at that point, I will stomp all of your fucking words back down your throat with both feet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like they say, the best revenge is just living a good life.
Yeah.
That's it, because the people that are bitching at you or telling you what to do, they're not living good lives, or else they wouldn't be telling you what to do. Like, I don't tell anybody what to do because I guess I have a good life. I don't want to brag, but I do. Yeah, I got a great fucking life, so I don't tell people shit. Like, I share my opinions, of course, like an asshole on Instagram, but I don't, like, I would never tell anybody what to do, It's like, I might be like, hey, like, not telling you what to do, but there's like that, you ever see that video, the nail in the head?
I'm not sure.
Okay, when we end this, go on YouTube and just put in the search bar, girl has nail in head. No. Dude,
it almost sounds like two girls in a cup type thing.
No, it's not. It's not. What's gonna happen is, Cliff, you're gonna message me tomorrow and be like, dude, fuck, that was amazing. I guarantee it.
I gotta write this down because I'll forget. That's why I keep fucking stacks of post-it notes, because
fuck yeah, man.
That's what happens when you have a desk.
No, I know, right?
Yeah, I'm not using a little kiddie table like Dave does.
My desk.
Hey, every time I try to get a desk, it never comes, and it's just like, oh, it's gonna be here this day, and it never shows up, and it's like, fuck you guys.
Well, I think we should wrap it up there, because this is one of my favorite episodes. Like, dude, yes. I've learned so much. Like, yes. I couldn't be more grateful for you being on the show, brother. I really do appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much.
Fuck! I totally forgot to say at the top of this interview, what's happening, people, guys? Check this out. I'm on the Savage Loud podcast. I have been thinking about that all fucking week, and I dropped the ball. God damn it. That was going to be my opening line, and I totally forgot.
That's awesome. Before we wrap this up, Dave, you got anything else you got for Tom? Any questions, any inquiries, anything like that?
No, you know what? I'm just, everything that you said. I mean, again, I want to thank you for being on the show today. I know, everything that you have provided has been a lot of insight, especially in the aspect of the medicine wise. And I definitely hope this resonates with others out there and really, helps people to, start breaking down those barriers with it.
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Dave. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, I feel like you're a bridge, like all of us in our own way is a bridge here. I'm a bridge, culture to culture. You're a bridge from, your mythic realms and learning about yourself on a deeper level, which I think is far more important than anything I could ever do. Dave's he's a bridge for on a lot of different levels. He has been a bridge for me on levels. So that being said, I again, thank you. And I if you're down, I'd be more than glad to have you back on the show sometime and have another conversation.
I'd love to, man, whenever you want. Like these are the kinds of podcasts I like, where it's just free flow conversation. I think we talked about this when we did mine, where it's like when people like, here are the questions I'm going to ask you. Just get the fuck out of here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the answers. Like the best ones for me is, you want to be on the show, blah, 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 blah. Sure. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. And then, closer to the show, they send you the question. Here's the questions we're going to ask. And here's the answers you have to pick from. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's start it out. Dave, let everybody know where they can find you.
All right, folks, you can find me over there on Instagram and Facebook at The Hammer Drops. In the bio, you're going to find 2 links, one to the website, thehammerdrops.com, and then the other one is going to be a link tree where you're going to be able to find all the other spots and crevices on the internet that I'm available on. Plus, you can also find the links to my podcast, The Hammer Drops, that's on Apple and Spotify and all that stuff as well. So definitely go check that out. Don't forget to like, share, and give me a review.
Mr. Tom Hatsis, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Instagram, tom.hatsis, X, I think it's just Thomas Hatsis, or Substack, Tom Hatsis. Those are all the things I got. I kind of refuse to do TikTok. It's just I have a sort of a moral stance against what the Chinese are doing right now, so I don't use TikTok. And I just got on X, so there's like no activity there at all. But I'll post my shit there.
I've been on X for over a year now, and I'm up to 155 followers. So I can't. And everybody I talk to see me like nobody can get any traction on that fucking place. So don't feel bad.
Is that what it is? Because people like, well, no one will talk to you. Like there was somebody I was going to do an interview with this guy who was like a pretty big culture war guy, and I was like, oh, well, I got a few reels that have millions of views, and he went to my Twitter or X, whatever the fuck. He's like, I'm like, no, on Instagram. He's like, well, nobody cares about Instagram. I'm like, all right. So we didn't do it.
A lot of people care about Instagram. I think it's actually the opposite. Like, if you really want to just find a cesspool of bullshit and hatred, that's when you go to fucking X.
Yeah, dude, I literally got an X account like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. Like that was it. Because I looked at it and I'm like, no, I wasn't into it. I'm not into social media at all, to be honest with you, but to do the work that we do, it's just a requirement.
It's golden handcuffs. Like there's no other better way to do it or better place to do it. So
yeah, fair enough.
All right, that all being said, guys, if you want to help me out, get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me at Savagely Loud on Instagram. That is where I'm most active, and on that page, you're going to find 2 links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. Please follow me there, too. It'd be greatly appreciated. The other link is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to hear my bullshit, see my rants, you can find it there, easy peasy. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast. Please subscribe. And Savagely Loud Gmail is where you can email me in, which I strongly suggest you do. And last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. And for the love of everything that you love, help us out. Do us all a solid on my content, on Dave's content, on Tom's content, on everybody that you follow's content. Please just like, share, comment, rate, and review their shows. Do all this stuff. It is an incredible help. Now, that being said, you know what time it is? Every single episode, we get way down in it. We had a little bit lighter-hearted one today, but we get way down in it, and we don't want to walk away all amped up. So let's get to a little segment I like to call Hopelessly Human. It starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some are only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
Yes, they are. Some are very hopelessly human, and this one is no different. This hopelessly human comes to you from sunnyskies.com. That's with a Z, skies, SKYZ.com. It's called Flying Kites. Just a quick story. A few years back, my partner and I had his son at the park, and I decided to bring out the kites I had stashed in my trunk. Just thought it would be fun for the kid. Then we get his son going, and we're just watching on the side, and my partner, 35 years old, tells me he's never flown a kite before. He had an extremely rough childhood, so I could understand why, but I still felt so sad to think of the many things that some take for granted that they get to do as a kid and others have never done. Lucky for him, I actually had an X-Wing Star Wars kite in my trunk as well. I hadn't used it because it's particularly difficult to put together, but for him, I didn't mind at all. He had so much fun with it, and I nearly cried getting to be there for it. Just the other day, we had a rather windy day, and I noticed a kite as I was driving down the road. I smiled so big, but then I started giggling to see the person piloting the kite was none other than this big burly man himself flying that kite. Just goes to show you don't always have to have something extravagant to make a person smile. You might just need a kite. That's Hopelessly Human. That's the show. Later, guys.